My name is Moses Crispus Okelo. I work with the Institute for Security Studies, but I'm from Uganda and live here in Addis at the moment. During times of conflict, a lot of things happen. A lot of violations get committed, which very easily overwhelm the formal justice mechanisms. And we've seen this happen in many countries, from Sierra Leone, Liberia, and the most commonly cited case is Rwanda. In cases like that where the formal justice mechanism is incapable, even if you gave it 100 years, to address violations committed in the course of conflict, typically customary mechanisms come into play. And customary mechanisms are, in my opinion, some of the most important mechanisms in resolving disputes, in that they embody what could be considered African cultural practices. So even if they are used as complementary mechanisms in this case, they are in fact the mechanisms that are able to help us address some of the violations, many of the violations that the formal justice mechanism is incapable of dealing with. I would say that statistically, many people in African countries still use traditional justice mechanisms for resolving their disputes on a day-to-day basis. So from time immemorial to today, these mechanisms have existed side by side with so-called formal justice mechanisms. What is missing is their explicit recognition as mechanisms that people resort to every day. So I wouldn't say they are necessarily more important, but I can say for sure that they are doing a great job responding to people's grievances, both in times of conflict and in times of peace. I think the strengthening of traditional and customary justice mechanisms really need to be the prerogative of people, citizens of the different countries, not necessarily multilateral bodies like the African Union, or even governments for that matter. Be that as it may, I think these institutions and governments can play a facilitative role. They can create an environment that allows these mechanisms to thrive and be part and parcel of the body politic of our countries. In terms of international arbitration, that's a slightly different order of things, but resolving disputes both nationally and internationally is a matter of trust. And given that our economies, Ethiopia inclusive, are part of an international mechanism, you need to be a part of a body of laws that help us to interact across borders. So international arbitration in this case comes in as a tool that helps Ethiopia to reach out, as well as outsiders to reach into Ethiopia in terms of providing a predictable framework for dealing with everyday commercial disputes. I think the efforts that the Ethiopian government is making at this point in time, through the Ministry of Justice, are commendable. There are, you could say, some of the beginning points of a rather long journey. So even if the journey is still longer and there's a lot more to be done, the attempts through the reforms of different proclamations are very important in setting putting the groundwork that is required to create a conducive investment environment. And this is more important given that Ethiopia is now embarked on the process of opening up its economy.